Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Chandler Stevenson. Chandler is graduating with degrees in philosophy and electrical engineering. I said that. Specializing in robust communication schemes and information theory. As co-president and avionics lead of the Brown Space Engineering, he helped design and build the team's latest satellite. He also contributed to research in Professor Chris Rose's World of Bits research group and Professor Kamani Toussaint's Probe Lab, and earned the 2024 Optica Amplify Scholarship and the 2025 National Science Foundation Graduate Fellowship for his work. But we're not done. In the classroom, Chandler served as teaching assistant for Engine 40 and was head teaching assistant for Engine 520. For 3 years, he also served as a Meiklejohn peer advisor, mentoring first-year students through their transition through the university. Beyond engineering, Chandler was also active in Brown's music department, performing both solo and ensemble flute recitals. And this summer, he'll join Blue Origins before beginning his PhD in electrical and computer engineering at Princeton, where he's going to be a leader in advancing next-generation wireless systems. Congratulations, and we'll hand the podium to you.
I'd like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude for everyone here today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family for laying an unwavering foundation at an early age and being the core of my life. Thank you. To my advisors, Professor Chris Rose, Professor Kamani Toussaint, Professor Alexander Soslavsky, and Ted Tracy, thank you for instilling in me a true faith in my capabilities both as a researcher and as a student. And to the School of Engineering, thank you for providing a support structure that has truly challenged us to be our best selves. On this Sunday afternoon, as we're about to step beyond Brown University into new journeys, I can't help but think of the Sunday afternoons of my childhood in Georgia, a place where clear skies meant hours of exploration in the backyard, time with family that always can never seem to last long enough, and a deep sense of community that wove itself into every part of daily life. It was also on these Sundays, amidst the quiet chirp of cicadas on the backdrop of a Georgia sunset, that you'd be reminded of just where you came from. For me, that meant stories of generations of people who, despite every possible institutional barrier, found a way not only to make change in the world, but to make good change. People who stood up for what was right even when it wasn't the most popular thing to do. And now, looking back on all of those stories on a Sunday afternoon at the dinner table, and lessons of moving forward despite what may be happening in the world around you, I can't help but think of all of you, the engineers of the class of 2025. And yet, while we may come from different corners of the world, while we may have different versions of the Sunday afternoons of my childhood in the foothills of Georgia, we have all taken the opportunity to turn different parts of this wonderful university into a story of our own. From the sci-li, where the hush of endless problem sets made hours feel like minutes, to the rock in the hay where you can catch some of the most beautiful sunsets on Brown's campus, for some of us, home began to find itself sketched into the horizon of College Hill. For some of us, home found its way in dining halls like the Ratty and Andrews, where catching up with a close friend was all you needed to remind yourself that it was all going to be okay. And it's these things that reminded us that home isn't just where you've been, but what you build together. And in our pursuit of building home here on campus, each of us found our own beginnings in engineering. For some of you, your story as an engineer began with late nights in the Brown Design Workshop, fixing up a bridge in Engine 30 that was never exactly how you thought it would turn out. For others, it began with challenges and tribulations in Professor Bauer's Engine 40, working on your first project in MATLAB, and spending many late nights in office hours in the basement of the ERC. For others, it was seeing your engineering project come to life, whether it be through research or on the racetrack as a member of Brown Formula Racing. For me, my journey began when I joined Brown Space Engineering, an organization on campus where students embark on a journey into the stars by building their very own satellite. I was a first year at the time, motivated by the possibility of building something that would one day go to space. Nicknamed PVDX, this satellite would teach us engineers every lesson in turning theory and equations into practice and results. Echoing the core values of this institution, Brown Space Engineering believes that everyone can be a part of something great, and it was this belief that led me, a first-year electrical engineer with a passion for radio communications, to dive headfirst into the design of PVDX and eventually become the co-president of the club. And during this journey of becoming an engineer, whether it was in thermodynamics, electricity and magnetism, or everything in between, we learned early on that engineering demands relentless attention to detail, and that imperfection is simply a part of the process. Yet with each setback, with each model that wouldn't hold, code that would magically stop working, we learned that failure was never the end, but rather the first step towards true understanding. Every fleeting moment of triumph, a circuit coming to life, an experiment going as planned, reminded us that every problem, no matter how daunting, is solvable. And so, as we look back on those late nights and early mornings, those sparks of failure and triumph alike, we arrive back at the question that brought us here in the first place. What does it truly mean to be an engineer? To me, it means standing at the intersection of curiosity and courage, a place where the question why becomes why not. It means recognizing a broken system and envisioning how to fix it and make it better, whether it be a bridge that helps people get safely from one point to the other, or ensuring that communities around the world have access to clean water. Our goal as engineers is translating complex equations into everyday miracles. And this reminds me of an old saying that goes, to the optimist, the glass is half full. To the pessimist, the glass is half empty. And to the engineer, the glass is twice as big as it needs to be. Now, while our work might usually be confined to math and coding, it's important to remember that to be an engineer is to do good in the world, in all of the world, no matter what. It means giving a seat at the table to everyone, not just those whose voices are the loudest. And it means taking a stand for what you believe in with evidence, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to the common good. To be an engineer today is to embrace the fiery debates over climate justice, health equity, and digital privacy, not as distant spectators, but as proactive problem solvers. It means reaching students in underfunded schools who need someone to be their champion, just as we did when we were kids. And it means refusing to participate in institutions of harm because, let's face it, neutral technology is complicit technology. So while that old saying may tell us that the glass is twice as big as it needs to be, in an age of waning trust in fraying communities, engineers have never been more essential. So let's fill that glass, not just with complicated schematics and software, but with the bold conviction that our work must uplift every neighbor, no matter who they are or where they're from. As we step out into this world as graduates of the Brown University School of Engineering, may we carry that same glass passed around every family's kitchen table, twice as big as it needs to be, into every corner of the world in need, filling it with empathy, sustainability, and justice. For us, change won't rest in schematics or designs we make, but rather the communities we uplift, voices we empower, and futures we transform. Congratulations, class of 2025. Our work and our promise begins today. Thank you.